Hello everyone. Welcome to the class on coordination chemistry. We have just completed nomenclature and structural isomerism of coordination complexes. Now we will look at theories which explains the bonding in coordination complexes, their structures and their properties. The first theory was proposed by Werner. Werner proposed this coordination theory in 1893, and for his elaborative work, which spanned over 20 to 30 years, purely on coordination compounds, he got Chemistry Nobel Prize in 1930. This is the first theory to explain the nature of bonding in coordination complexes because he has started working on coordination complexes. So he started exploring everything from the scratch. There were no coordination compounds previous to Werner. So he started working on them. He started exploring coordination compounds. So he has proposed a theory to explain the nature of bonding in coordination complexes. According to uh, Werner's coordination theory, every metal will have two types of valencies. One is primary valency, which we can also call it as ionizable valency, and second one is secondary valency, or this is also called as auxiliary valency. So according to Werner's theory, every metal will have two types of valency, primary valency and secondary valency. What is primary valency? Generally, the valencies exhibited by metal, they are mostly they will have positive charges, so they will be satisfied by negative charges. That means negative charges from ligands. Now, the primary valency is mostly the oxidation state of the metal. It is mostly oxidation state of the metal. This primary valency is only satisfied by ionic bonds. They are satisfied by purely ionic bonds. They don't, that means they will be counter negative ions. Because they are satisfied by counter ions, we can say this bond is non-directional. Non-directional. That means it will not give any information about the shape. Okay, so primary valency is just the oxidation of the metal ion, and it is non-directional. It can be satisfied by negative ions. They will be satisfied by counter ions. Counter ions. Just for example, if KCl is there, K plus Cl minus. So something like that. What is secondary valency? Secondary valency is satisfied by negative charges, but the secondary valency is satisfied by bonded ligands. It is satisfied by bonded ligands. So the number of secondary valencies will be equal to the number of ligands surrounding the metal. The number of ligands surrounding the metal which we also call it as a coordination number. So secondary valency is satisfied by the ligands. Of course, ligands will always involve in bonding. So secondary valency is satisfied through bonding. So secondary valency, of course, coordination number is not coined by Werner. It was proposed in theories which were proposed after Werner theory. But still, we can compare secondary valency to coordination number. So secondary valency is nothing but coordination number. And because secondary valency is satisfied only through bonding, we can say it is a directional, it is having a direction. So secondary valency is directional. Primary valency is non-directional, but secondary valency is directional. That means we can say a particular bond is whether in the plane or out of the plane or along x-axis or in between some axis. So something like that. Secondary valencies are directional. Therefore, what we can say, secondary valencies determine the shape of a complex ion. So secondary valencies determines the shape of a complex. We will take one example how we can write the structure of a complex ion using Werner's theory. We will take this example. Here, central metal is cobalt ion, and there were 6 ammonia ligands inside the coordination sphere, which are bonded to cobalt directly. So these are secondary valencies. These 6 ammonia ligands are satisfied by secondary valency. So these will have bonds. These 6 ammonia ligands will have bonds. These 6 ammonia ligands will have bonds with, will involve in bonding with the cobalt metal, whereas these 3 chlorines, because cobalt is in +3 oxidation state, ammonia is neutral, so overall the complex ion is +3. Now the +3 charge is satisfied by counter -3, that means in terms of 3 chlorines. Now the secondary valency is shown by a bond, whereas the primary valency is just shown by a dotted line. It is shown by a dotted line. It is not a bond, remember. This is this straight line is the bond. Straight line is the bond. This is only, it is not a bond, to just show how the primary valency is satisfied in a coordination complex. So the dotted line represents primary valency and the straight line represents secondary valency. According to Werner's theory, the straight line represents secondary valency and the dotted line represents primary valency. Because there are 3 chlorines, we need to place 3 chlorines. And because these chlorines are satisfied by primary valency, that means they are non-directional. They are non-directional. So we can place these chlorines anywhere in the complex. Okay, it is not that I have placed this chlorine here only. It is not fixed to this place. Okay, we can show anywhere in the complex. For example, if there is a complex, if we remove one ammonia ligand from this complex, we will get a complex like this. Now, instead of 3 chlorines, there were only 2 chlorines outside the coordination sphere. That means we can only show 2 primary valencies. But cobalt is in +3 oxidation state. It must have 3 primary valencies. In this case, what we can do? See here, we have shortage of primary valencies. Inside the coordination sphere, we have 6 ligands, 5 ammonia ligands and 1 chlorine ligand. So to represent the secondary valency, we do not have any problem. But there is a problem in representing primary valency. Cobalt is in +3 oxidation state. We must have 3 negative charges, but we have only 2 negative charges. So when there is a shortage of primary valency, what we can do? First, we will represent the secondary valency. There were 5 ammonia ligands and 1 chlorine ligand inside the coordination sphere. Sorry. So these 5 ammonia ligands, 1 chlorine ligand, they satisfy secondary valency, and the outside coordination sphere there were 2 chlorine atoms, so they satisfy 2 primary valencies. Now we have shortage of third primary valency. In this case, we can make this chlorine which may also satisfy primary valency. So you just draw a straight line bond and a dotted line. So straight line represents secondary valency, dotted line represents primary valency. So whenever there is a shortage of primary valencies, we can represent both primary valency and secondary valency with the negatively charged ligands. So this is how we can satisfy the primary valency. Now we know a metal, a complex with coordination number 6 will have octahedral geometry. But how Werner has arrived at octahedral geometry? See, for example, generally we will represent a complex which is having a metal and then ligands. So it is a general representation. For example, if there are 6 ligands, Ml6, generally this complex will have octahedral geometry. So a metal which is bonded to 6 ligands will have octahedral geometry. Then how did Werner arrive this geometry? You know, during Werner's research, he does not have UV visible spectroscopy, IR spectroscopy, XRD spectroscopy. Mostly we use XRD spectroscopy to derive the structure of complexes. He does not have any of the spectroscopic techniques. It is purely the chemistry knowledge and the synthetic backup, synthetic support. It is purely the logical way of explaining the structures, logical way of arriving at the structures. But today we have many spectroscopic techniques which will explain the structure of the complexes. But Werner does not have any spectroscopic technique. Without any aid of spectroscopic techniques, he has exactly derived the structure of complexes. With 6 ligands, it will be octahedral geometry. With 4 ligands, it will have square planar, or uh, with 4 ligands, it may have tetrahedral geometry. But using simple chemistry, synthetic chemistry techniques, and the simple properties of the complexes, he has exactly predicted. So that is the beauty of Werner's theory. Okay, without any spectroscopic techniques, he has clearly identified the structures of all the complexes. How did he arrive at the structures? Now, we will compare them. Complex, number of isomers observed, number of isomers predicted. See, for a complex with the 6 ligands, we can have 3 different structures. Octahedral geometry is possible, planar hexagon, that means a 6-member ring, is possible, or a trigonal prism. These 3 structures are possible for a complex with 6 ligands. But how Werner has arrived at octahedral geometry? So that is the beauty in this theory. See, the structure of these complexes were deduced by the number of isomers possible and found. So what Werner has done is he has synthesized the complexes and he has compared the synthesized complexes with the number of possible isomers. That means he has clubbed both synthetic techniques as well as theoretical developments. Now, what is octahedral geometry? Octahedral geometry is that a central metal with 4 ligands surrounding it. So it is a square planar. It is square planar. One ligand above the plane, one ligand below the plane. One ligand above the plane, one ligand below the plane. In the plane, we have metal and 4 ligands, which represent a square planar structure. Then one ligand above the plane, one ligand below the plane. So this is the octahedral geometry. It is called octahedral geometry. Shortcut OH. Now, what is planar hexagon? Planar hexagon is nothing but a benzene ring. Now, in the center, we will have metal, and it is bonded to each point is representing a ligand. So this metal is bonded to ligand. This is planar hexagon. Now, what is trigonal prism? Trigonal prism. So it is a prism. We all know the structure of prism, right? You might have seen the prism in the physics lab. So this is prism. So at the center, metal will be there, and each point, see here a triangle, 3 sides, here three points. So this side we have 3, and that side we have 3 ligands, right? So for example, take this Ml6 ligand, Ml6 complex. There are, what are the number of isomers possible? There is only one possible. For example, take octahedral geometry. There is only one possibility because all the 6 ligands are same, hexagon and prism. We will have only one number of one isomer possible. So octahedral also will give the one number, one isomer. Hexagon will give one isomer. Trigonal prism will also give one isomer. Now, for example, take ML5 and a different ligand. ML5 and a different ligand. Now, if we replace one of the ligand with X, we can replace this X anywhere, but it will give only one possibility. So, octahedron will give only one possibility. For example, remove any one ligand and place X, that also will give only one possibility. For example, you remove any one ligand and place X, then also we will get only one possibility. So he has synthesized that complex. He has only obtained one complex, and the number of possible isomers predicted for these 3 structures is also 1. So with these 2 formulas, he did not get anything. Now, take the example of MX4Y2. MX4Y2. He has synthesized 2 complexes. He has synthesized 2 complexes. Now, what is the possibilities if we have 2 different Yeah, L4X2. Now, we can place these two ligands side by side or opposite side. These are the two possibilities. That means the two X ligands, they can be placed side by side or they can be placed diagonally to each other. So that means with octahedral geometry, we will have two possibilities. We will have two possibilities. Now coming to the hexagon, the two ligands, they can be placed side by side. We call them 1 comma 2. We can place them 1 comma 3 position, or we can place them at 1 comma 4 positions. We can place the two X ligands one after another. That means at 1 comma 2 positions, or we can place them at 1 comma 3 positions, or we can place them at 1 comma 4 positions. So that means there are three possible isomers for planar hexagon. That means if this formula, if this complex is a planar hexagon, then it must have three isomers. It must have three isomers. But how many were synthesized by Werner? Werner has synthesized only two complexes. Now, we will also look at the number of possible isomers for prism. Now, look at the prism also. If there are two X ligands, we can place them in this triangle, or we can place them in this triangle. We can place them one in this triangle, one in this triangle. Say here one ligand, here one ligand. These two are side by side, or here one ligand and here one ligand. They are not side by side, right? If you place here and here, they are side by side and they are in one triangle. If we place here and here, they are again side by side, but they are in different triangles. If we place here and here, they are not side by side and they are in different ligands. That means how many possibilities are there with prism? With prism also we can have three possibilities. So remember, for this complex, Werner has synthesized two complexes. When we look at the octahedral geometry, we can have only two possible isomers, but with hexagon, we can have three possible isomers. With prism, we can have three possible isomers. Now look at the match. The number of isomers synthesized is exactly matching with the number of isomers predicted for a octahedral geometry. So Werner concluded that metal complexes with 6 ligands will have octahedral geometry but not planar hexagon and trigonal prism. So without any spectroscopic techniques, purely based on the knowledge, that means number of isomers possible, and the synthetic techniques, Werner has also synthesized these complexes, three same ligands and three different ligands. Then also, Werner has synthesized only two complexes, and it is the same story. With octahedral structure, there are only two possible isomers. With planar hexagon, there are three possibilities. Trigonal prism also, there are three possibilities. Now the match is between number of isomers synthesized by Werner 2 and the number of isomers predicted are also predicted for octahedral geometry are 2. So based on this matching, Werner proposed that all the complexes with 6 ligands will have octahedral geometry.